My adult son, 35, is in the process of being evicted and will have no place to live. He told me that I'm a terrible person for not letting him move in with me. He said any decent parent would do whatever they could to help their child, even if that meant living with them at home forever. Some background. Our son lived with us until he was in his early 20s. He moved out when he got married. When he and his wife divorced, we let him move back in to help him get back on his feet. He went to work in the family business at that time and lived here for over 2 years. He didn't pay us a dime and had food, room, electricity, water, utilities, linens, cable and Wi-Fi. His 2 sons were always welcome here as well and were provided for. He failed to save a single penny. When he came home and told us his new girlfriend was pregnant, we told him that it was time to move out. If he could afford another baby, he should be able to afford his own place. He left angry and never once thanked us for what we had done. He began drinking excessively, missing work regularly, and he crashed 2 cars. No DUI was charged, but I have my doubts. He was eventually fired from the family business, for which we were labelled horrible parents for firing him, whilst he had a new baby on the way. He was given a second chance, and when the same problems resurfaced, was fired again. The 2 sons he already had did not like the new girlfriend, and our son stopped seeing his own kids to make his new girlfriend happy. They went on to have a total of 4 kids together. Each time they announced a new pregnancy, they told everyone to mind their own business about it. It's their choice and it was none of our concern. In the last 2 years, our son has been diagnosed with mental illness and has developed a drug problem that resulted in the 4 small children being removed from the home. They are currently being fostered by our other son and his wife. He refuses to go to rehab or to a mental health facility to get his meds straightened out. He is separated from the second wife and refuses to do any of the steps outlined for him in order to regain custody of his kids. I did give him money last month, which he spent on a new tattoo. Now he is being evicted from yet another house. He has no job. His heating has been turned off. For Christmas, I took him an electric blanket, a solar battery that he could use to run the thing, gloves, a scarf, a hat, wool socks, a sweatshirt and some food. He got mad and said that I was preparing him to be homeless instead of offering him a home. I always swore there was nothing that my kids could do that would make me stop loving them, and that is still true. But does love equal help when he is unwilling to help himself? Am I the derriere? This is so heartbreaking. People in the comments were saying to never let an addict move in with you, and I do agree. What can you do if someone doesn't want to or refuses to get help? And an edit to add, I want to thank you all for your time, concern and suggestions. I'm attending my first AITA meeting on Thursday. I spoke to my son yesterday and told him no. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Just to clarify for some of you with questions. 1. Yes, I have reached out to 2 friends of mine who work with rehab facilities to get him a bed, but he refused to go. 2. He did do outpatient rehab for a while, but he quit. 3. He was being treated for his mental illness and has been on at least 2 different combinations of meds, but stopped taking them because he didn't like them. 4. He was seeing a mental health professional, but quit that too because the guy didn't understand. He quit the next guy for the same reason. He thinks he doesn't need help, and he always has an excuse for why something doesn't work out. 5. Of course I've considered that he might die. That is what is tearing me up. Can I live with it? I don't really want to live with any of this reality either way. It all sucks except for him getting help, which is the one option that doesn't seem to be available. Thank you again. I appreciate you. My 46 female daughter, 18 female, has moved out of the house last month. She only moved out about half of her stuff, and she left the rest to be picked up later, including a large cabinet of art and art supplies. My son, his wife and 4 children were staying in my house currently, while the son is searching for a job. One of my grandkids came to me a few weeks ago with a drawing that he found in the cabinet of a ballerina whose head and arms seemed to be exploding. He said the drawing had scared him and his little brother. I went to the cabinet and found whole sketchbooks of similar art, mainly of female figures in unnatural poses, or at worst I would consider soft porn. I gathered the drawings and threw them away immediately. I do not allow that sort of thing in my house. And I thought my daughter would be honestly too embarrassed to come and see me, asking where they were. But when she noticed, I told her I threw them out, and she threw a fit and told me that it was not porn but body horror, and that it was therapeutic for her to draw. She says that she'd been keeping it hidden in the cabinet so it wouldn't be found by nephews, but obviously I believe it was out of shame. I told her again that I do not allow that kind of thing in my house, and she should never have drawn it in the first place. After her last visit, we have not talked. I don't think I'm the derriere, because she knew not to have that kind of material in my house, and it's scaring my grandkids. It's only that her sister tells me I should have given her a chance to take it to her new house that I think I might be the derriere, so am I the derriere? You are the derriere. That was your daughter's property, and the nephews had no right to rummage through her stuff while she wasn't there, and you showed zero respect to your daughter's privacy by throwing away her stuff and then placing the blame on her. You're the derriere. I doubt she was hiding it in shame just because you feel that it's not safe for work. She was probably proud of her art until you decided to trash it. You had no right, and the nephew had zero right going through her things. And I completely agree. You shouldn't have thrown it out because you know that she was going to pick it up, and it had absolutely nothing to do with you. Absolutely disgusting behaviour, OP. Should I, 31 female, help my husband, 31 male, with his anger issues, or leave him? My husband and I have been married for 8 years, and we have children. He was in the Navy for several years, and recently got out. Our relationship was basically put on hold while he was active duty, because he was gone so much. It was just one goodbye homecoming after another, and pretty much zero normalcy. We've always been prone to fighting, and some say that maybe we shouldn't have even gotten married in the first place, because of how much we struggled to get along. Perhaps that is right, but here we are. And I would like to avoid divorce if possible. My husband gets extremely overwhelmed by just about anything that isn't running perfectly smoothly. He's extremely melancholic when things are great, and he will say everything sucks and my life is an absolute nightmare. He will say these things about something as simple as a child spilling their drink at dinner. When he gets overwhelmed, he tends towards anger. Needless to say, it puts the entire family on edge. He will shout, he will use profanity, he will storm off and be really, really abrasive. He has certainly tended towards verbal and emotional abuse before. We have been in marriage counselling several times and are currently doing it. He seems on board with this behaviour being problematic. He knows that I hate it, and he's agreed it's harmful for the children. However, it's not stopping. One of us could make one wrong move and he will blow up. In the end, I know he's suffering from depression. He won't help himself though. How much do I push the issue, and how do I explain that he will lose me and the kids if he doesn't improve this? Before, any ultimatum has been met with absolute disregard because he doesn't believe that they are right. I disagree. I think they are simply a clear statement of consequences for certain actions. In this case, if he doesn't stop with the emotional outbursts and seek treatment for his anger, depression, I will have to separate myself and his children from him. I want to help, but I don't know where to draw the line. I can't spend my entire life with someone who treats me this way when he gets mad. I also need to think about my kids. You basically answered your own question. You need to tell him that this is a completely serious issue for you and that you won't put yourself or your kids in an abusive situation. From your post, you didn't mention anything physical, but people don't fly off the deep end about little things forever. Eventually, they're going to be extra angry or extra panic attacks or extra drunk or whatever one day, and it's going to become physical. I guess you have to ask yourself how long you'll keep your kids in the house with an abuser during the most formative years of their lives. I made my girlfriend cry for admitting that my best friend is more attractive than her. I, 25 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 24 female, for almost a year now. Before we became official, we were friends for at least 4 years. Other than my girlfriend, the second most important person in my life is my best friend, 24 female. We've been best friends for almost a decade, and she's been there for me for all my lowest points. I literally would not have survived this long without her. Our relationship is purely platonic. I admit that I've had a crush on her before, but we've both admitted that it would be better for us to stay friends, and that was that. She isn't the stereotype girl best friend either. She's just my best friend who also happens to be female. She respects boundaries, and I like to believe that she genuinely sees me as a friend, and vice versa. We've been each other's support systems for a long time, and we even trust each other more than our own parents. Recently, my girlfriend asked me if I think she's prettier, more attractive than my best friend. For context, my best friend is a successful fashion model/influencer and was even a semi-finalist at Miss USA a few years back. She looks like your typical model influencer, tall, slender, clear skin, while my girlfriend is honestly short, quite chubby, and has a lot of acne. Eesh. I love my girlfriend, I really do. She has social anxiety and thus sometimes goes for long periods of time without contacting me, but I've never once felt any doubt or temptation to cheat or find someone else. I accept and love her as she is. When she asked me that question, I answered that yes, I believe my best friend is prettier, more attractive than her. I mean, come on. My girlfriend is a normal girl, and my best friend literally gets paid and receives lots of free stuff solely for her looks. She got offended and started crying. She hasn't talked to me in a while either. I don't understand why she's acting that way. I mean, the answer was obvious, but it doesn't make me love her any less. I clearly chose to date her instead of the other women. I accept her as a whole package. I told my best friend about my answer, and she slapped me. Now, she's been on my ass to make it right. Was I expected to very blatantly lie to my girlfriend? Wouldn't it have been worse if I wasn't honest? Anyone with eyes could clearly see who was more attractive. Wouldn't it be a slap to her to just lie to her face that way? I don't get why I have to be the bad guy in this situation. I think you're confusing hottest with attractiveness. I think it's safe to say that your best friend is hot, but attractiveness depends on the person. So you should always be more attracted to your girlfriend than your friend. Your girlfriend deserves better than you. You don't love her. You described her with absolute disdain. But you've raved about your so-called best friend to anyone who can read knows exactly who you really want. I hope your girlfriend dumps you because she deserves better than a derriere like you. And an update from OP. I was able to talk to her. She apparently told other people about the situation and everyone sides with me. She shouldn't have been asking me questions like that when the answer was obvious. She apologised. What? What did she apologise for? To everyone saying I should have broken up with her, we're good. I'm feeling very betrayed by my best friends instead because it's clear whose side she took. She's the only one who took my girlfriend's side. Most of the people we know are also upset at her. This has got to be a lie. The way he describes his girlfriend is honestly gross. It doesn't even sound like he likes her. I hope she realises that she's worth so much more and she had nothing to apologise for.